Hey everyone, Jason here from Off the Beaten Path, and we're out here with David from Free Spirit Campers to talk about the Duck Stunts 5. The DN5 from Free Spirit Campers, Aussie owned, developed and manufactured hybrid camper that's going to really blow you away with what it's got to offer. I know I was super impressed when I had the opportunity to have a good look through this. As you can see, David's just setting it up there. He's put down the rear stabilisers. It's got airbag suspension that allows you to auto level, and now he's just attaching the removable jockey wheel. They do offer an attached swing down jockey wheel if that's something you prefer, and he's just about to lift that off the tow hitch on the back of the car and level it up. You can see here on the main control panel there's a Cymarine panel which enables you to get the leveling of the camper just spot on. 0000 for pitch and yaw.
That's on point 1. 0.
There it is. Yeah. Leveled out perfectly. And next, David's just setting up the powered awning, which as you'll note is actually recessed in, sits sort of on top of the external wall of the hybrid camper, so it doesn't protrude like a lot of the vehicle ones do, and is in a much safer location, much less likely to suffer an awning delete if you're taking it through the tight tracks that you might take something like this on. Pretty stress-free setting that up, like a lot of the powered awnings. You just put the legs down as you go, and David's now just opening the back door there to reduce the suction effect as he's getting ready to put the powered roof up. Obviously it's a bit easy to put the awning out before you raise the roof up. There's two high-quality German-made actuators inside there that are synced together and raise that roof up, making sure that both sides go up at exactly the same speed. And while that's happening, you can see there David's just folded out the stainless steel kitchen setup, and he's for food prep, and there's a spot there in the middle where the sink goes. He's just pulling the kitchen out at the moment. Now it does look a little low. That's because it's on a sloping site here. The camper's level and the ground is not. So let's get into the run through on the exterior, guys.
Alright, so David, we're here at the front of the DN5. The first obvious thing I notice is a couple of things really. This looks like it's designed for aerodynamics.
Yes.
And to just make it that little bit easier to tow and
yes, and stone deflection. That's the reason for the angle from there down. Is if for any stones that do hit up this high, which is generally not many up that high, but if they do hit up that high, they're going to be deflected down rather than back into your vehicle.
And same for the metal guard.
This is your main stone deflector, and that's deflecting stones out and down. Most important, it's deflecting out, and that mud flap is what's really going to cop the majority of your stones from your vehicle.
Yeah, perfect.
It's coated in a rubberised coating that's virtually chip-proof, guaranteed to not chip.
Fantastic, and I mean just on that, this is actually not a brand new van, is it?
No,
you've been using this for a while.
Yes, that's right.
So this is not just off the showroom floor. This has been out and about. And
yep.
How long have you been using this van?
This van is 10 months.
10 months
old. Yeah, our original prototype we did 5 years of testing on. Yeah, this one's only 10 months old. Yep.
Yeah, so it's had nearly a year out there on the tracks, and still looks like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that drawbar looks like a pretty solid piece as well.
Yeah, so the idea of the one-piece drawbar to here is so to enable you to jackknife your trailer as far around as possible in case you get into a really tight situation where you need to do that. You can nearly get to 90 degrees, or you can get to 90 degrees on this side, on that side, not quite because of the jockey wheel.
Sure. And you know, the jockey wheel, you mentioned you've got a folding model and then you've got this removable model that's stowed on top there as well.
Generally you use the folding model.
Sure. And then in the front here you've got some storage, a couple of gas bottles and a jerry can as well.
Yeah, so we've got storage for 2 jerry cans, this one here at the front, and 2 kilo gas bottles. We only got the 2 small gas bottles because all we're running is a gas barbecue.
Yeah, perfect.
And, but we don't want to just have one bottle because you always run out. You don't want to fill your bottle that's half full.
Yes.
So 2 bottles is a must, I think.
Yep. And just running a single barbecue, that's going to last a fair while.
Oh yeah, two little 2 kilos. And with an induction cooktop, you tend not to use a barbecue much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll chat about that when we get over to the kitchen.
Yes.
It's pretty exciting that that's integrated.
Yes, and this is access to the spare wheel. So to remove that door, to get to the spare wheel, you need to remove that door. And to remove that door, you need to remove the jerry can, 2 gas bottles, then undo your 4 latches. The door comes out, and then you can take your spare wheel out through here.
Sure. And that jerry can, that looks like it's got a breather on it.
Yes, so this is for the diesel heater. This jerry can's used for the diesel heater.
Okay.
Fuel to the diesel, or of course, if you need it for your vehicle, you could use it on your vehicle as well. And there's still space for 2 there.
Yep. So you could have one plumbed in like that for your diesel heater, and one just as a spare again.
Yes.
Much like the gas cylinders.
Exactly. Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So guys, we're still here with David going through the DN5. Big storage cupboard here on the front with these latches, which are already open. And that goes through all the way. I'll give you a better look at that when we get around to the other side, but there's tons of storage in there, spare wheels actually in there, and also there's a hot water system in there as well.
We also have the front tank water pump, which we call the hot tank, and then from that, this is the suction side of the pump, so we can suck here from the front water tank, which you see that valve's on. This is a normal position. But we can also turn that off, and we can suck out of the river or a pump, as long as there's not too much drop down fall. And then we also have another suction point here, which just goes to the rear water tank. Now we do have our separate pump and on the rear tank. But just in case you run out of hot water, which we do generally use the hot water first because you use more hot water than cold water. If you do, your tank gets a bit low on the hot, you can actually turn that off and turn this one on, so then your hot water service is starting to use the rear tank. So it's very versatile, allow you to do what you like with that pump. And then the other advantage, of course, with this system is you can fill up your water tanks from here. So not only you can suck from a bucket, but you can also fill both water tanks. So you can plug in your hose from home in here, and then you can turn that one there on, that one there on. You can fill both water tanks at once, or fill one or the other. And the breather for the tanks is actually around the wheel arch. It doesn't go to the fillers on the other side. So when the tank's full, the water will come out that breather. So when you see the water coming out, you know it's full, and then you simply turn the water off.
Yeah, fantastic. And you've got 200 litre or a bit over 100 litre tanks.
Yeah, 2 125 litre tanks mounted close to the axle, which we'll go over later when we have a look at the chassis.
Really solid doors too, with a gas strut to control them when they open and close. And you've got a great L-shaped cooking space here, and I'll let David walk us through that. You've obviously got space for quite a large fridge here.
Yeah, 75 litre dual zone Dometic fridge in there.
Fantastic. And we've got the Weber BBQ, or?
Yes, yep, Weber BBQ, and we have an induction cooktop in this drawer here.
Yeah, right.
You can plug into the power point.
Straight into there.
Yep.
Ready to go.
Yep.
So, fantastic. So, straight away you see induction cooking and you think, can I cook more than one meal on this? So it's probably the opportune time to talk about just how much solar and battery storage you've got in here to actually support using induction cooking.
Yeah, we've got a huge amount of battery storage. We've got 2 300 amp hour lithium batteries.
600 amp hours?
Yes, 600 amp hour all up.
Yeah, right.
In parallel, and we have on this particular unit 930 watts of solar. We can fit up to 1,050 watts of solar on the roof.
Right, so over a kilowatt.
Yes, over a kilowatt, plus plug-in external solar if you need to. Yeah.
Fantastic. And look, I think that's something that's often overlooked is people get focused on the battery storage and not necessarily thinking about how do I replenish that other than putting it behind my vehicle and going for a drive.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Because if you got 600 amps of lithium power, and you got a 150 watt solar panel on the roof, they're kind of not in proportion, are they?
No, you need to be able to restore the battery in your batteries fast if you can when the sun's out. So you need as much solar as you can get in. Yes, and yeah, we can see right now it's not real sunny. It's an overcast day. But yeah, we're making 20 amps at the moment, putting 20 amps into the battery.
Fantastic.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you can, using that 2-3 times a day is not going to be an issue with that battery storage.
No.
And that amount of solar, and then as you said, should you feel the need, or if you've parked in a shady spot, you've got the external solar input where you could run a solar blanket of whatever size, and you can daisy chain them together as well. So making sure you've got power to actually do your cooking is not an issue. And the great thing with the induction cookers is they're not affected by wind the way other cook types can be.
No, exactly, yeah, and that's a big advantage. No have to worry about wind. And the other big advantage is you can unplug this, and you can plug it in inside or on that bench there. We have some locators, so it's simply you just pick it up, and you can either put it on that bench there and plug it into there, or you can take it inside and put it on the bench inside and plug it inside. So you're versatile cooking, and because it's not gas, you can use it inside.
Fantastic.
If it was gas, you couldn't. And it locates back on there, like so.
Yeah, so they sort of hold it in place.
Yep.
They're, you know, again, it's just a small thing, but it's something that you've obviously thought about the practicalities of towing this with an induction cooker that's not screwed into place.
Yes.
You've thought about the logistics of that and found a solution to hold it in place while towing.
Yes, we have a strap that you put on there if you're off-road, just to make sure it stays in place.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And the Weber is fixed in place.
Yeah, we do have same system. I have some locators, not on this one yet, but it's coming. I have them in the factory that will enable you to just plonk the Weber on there with 2 pins, quick latch pins. Undo the pins, you can take it out and you can put it on your bench and move it to wherever you want to move it to.
Fantastic.
Yep, so it'll be a similar concept to that on the Weber.
Yep. And yeah, stainless steel surfaces. Let's come around and have a look at the kitchen. So we're around sort of on the kitchen side. You've got this great stainless steel bench that folds down with the sink that slots in. Tap stays in there permanently, so you're not having to plug hoses in or anything like that. You've got running water and obviously all your switches there to turn your pumps on and off and that sort of thing.
Yes.
So just looking there, we've got so you can turn power on and off to the fridge?
Yeah, that's it, yes. We can turn power on and off here to all your 12 volt power supply sockets, inside and outside. We have one there, we have one here, more inside, plenty more. We've got 2 water pumps on this camper, so we call that one the hot one and the cold water pump. Lid up and down, compressor you can turn on. This is a master switch for all your lights, so once that's on, all your lights, there's 3 light switches there, there's another one inside, all your lights will work. And then we have our air controls. It's non-electric, it's all mechanical control of your airbag.
Fantastic.
And that's your awning control. And of course we have then the Cymarine Pico screen.
Yeah, fantastic. So, and the Cymarine screen, obviously I saw you using that when you were setting up.
Yes.
So that has ability to make sure you've leveled the camper. It also monitors your battery by the look of that.
Yes, that's the main use for this screen is the battery monitoring. To see what's going in and out is most important. So you can keep an eye on your battery capacity. It's got a proper shunt, so we're very accurate percentage how full your battery is at 73% at the moment.
Yeah, fantastic, and going up.
Yes.
And yeah, obviously saw you put the awning out with the motorised control there, which it doesn't really get any easier than that.
No, setup's pretty easy.
And output here for the compressor as well.
Yeah, so if you need to pump up your tyres on your van or your car for that matter, you can plug in your hose and pump up your tyres from there. It's a bit easier to get to. Plus you've got an onboard compressor, so why not use it?
Fantastic. Yeah, look, I think we've probably all been caught out before. I know I was the first time I towed off-road, had the compressor mounted in the engine bay of the car, and had the hose the right length to reach the rear wheels of the car, and when I came to inflate the tyres on my trailer I was towing, the hose didn't reach.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So that's a great inclusion, really thoughtful.
There's our 2 water pumps, hot and cold pump. The cold tank is just behind the axle. The front tank is just in front of the axle. So to access the hot water, if you have the hot water service on, it's going to be hot. And when you turn the mixer valve there, you can hear the front, that water pump in the front storage container starting up. And then if you turn the tap to the cold side, you'll hear the other water pump, which accesses water from the cold tank. So they're 2 totally separate systems. The tanks aren't connected to each other unless you want to connect them to each other through the valves at the front. And you simply, if you want to use the front tank, you simply use that side of the tap. If you want to use the cold, use that side of the mixer. And this keeps it separate. So if you have water you're a little bit suspect on or you don't like the taste of, and you generally fill up your hot water tank more than the cold. So we always fill up the front tank, and that's only used for dishes and showers. And then you keep your good water, you know is good, in your rear, and then you can simply use that for drinking and of course cooking, things like that.
And your hot water system has a tempering valve installed on it as well, so you can control the temperature of the hot water that you get.
Yeah, well, there's a tempering valve inside for the shower, but then the hot water system is around here. We can show you that. It's on at the moment. It's a 240 volt. This camper here, we can also fit a diesel hot water. This camper here, we have an electric hot water system, which is right there. It's on 12 volt at the moment power. As you can see, it's 63 degrees, the hot water is. And that's adjustable. You can make it higher or lower. And then it's also got 2 elements in it. It's got a 12 volt element, it's got a 240 volt element. And how it's rigged up is, as soon as you plug into this shore power here, it detects that it's got 240 volts from shore power, and it'll switch over automatically to 240 volts. So you're using power from your caravan park or from home. And as soon as you unplug, it automatically switches back to 12 volt. So it works seamlessly. And the good thing about electric, it's quiet. You don't hear it. You can just leave it on all the time. We don't leave it on while we're travelling. As soon as you turn the hot water pump off, which we prefer to do, we leave the water pumps off while you're travelling, just in case there's an issue. As soon as you turn that water pump off, the hot water service turns off. But when you turn the water pump on, the hot water service is on, and it's just always got hot water. So there's no thinking about it, oh shit, I've got to do the dishes, I'll go and turn the hot water service on. If it's a diesel, then generally that's what you have to do. And then you have to wait a certain amount of time for the diesel hot water service to heat up. Whereas these are just, it's always there, always got hot water.
Yeah, fantastic. That's another really well thought out part of the camper.
Yeah, so the other with the shore power plug is the inverter switches over from 240 volts shore power to battery power automatically. So as soon as you plug your shore power in, there's no switches to change over. The inverter will switch over, so all your power points still work, but they're now working on shore power. And the other thing that switches over automatically is the hot water service, as I mentioned. And that's it.
Yeah, so just one less thing to remember, the fact that your 240 volt power just works seamlessly. So, if you've been out on a long trip for a week touring or whatever, and you decide to spend a night in a caravan park to charge up the batteries and get access to a laundry or something, you plug the power in, it's going to start charging your lithium batteries.
That's right, yes.
And then things like the 240 volt outlets and the hot water system automatically run off that shore power, and they're not depleting your lithium batteries while you're trying to charge them.
No, exactly. And it's just nice to have a seamless system like that. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about whether you've switched it over or not. It just works.
That's it. We all love things that make getting out there a little bit easier.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
And with all the cabinetry here, this is all folded metal. And I think when you were setting up, the coolest thing that you showed us is you've got the latches here, button magnets that auto-locate those. So you can latch them for travel, and then when you're not travelling you unlatch them, but it doesn't mean they just sit where they want to sit. They actually relocate in the centre, and these are all accessible from inside as well.
That's right, yes, yeah. So, yeah, they're all made out of aluminium, folded aluminium. There's no timber used throughout, and these drawers go inside and outside, as you can see.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, David, you were just mentioning as well as these drawers going in and out, accessible internal and external, they also provide access to additional storage.
Yeah, so around the wheel arch, which is normally pretty hard to get to, you can access. We store the sink in there and a few other articles in there. So there's a bit of storage in there underneath that drawer, and in this drawer here, you can actually get to your clothes from outside if you. It's quite easy to get to it from inside as well, from the back door, but that's that bonus.
Fantastic. So yeah, you've really focused on using every little nook and cranny and
Exactly, yeah.
making it as functional as possible.
Yep, exactly. And we have storage here that you can access inside and outside as well. We generally keep a few food items and things like the lad wraps and bags, things like that in there.
Yeah, no, perfect storage, chopping boards, all that, and then you've got your stainless steel work surface here. And look, I love the attention to detail with your fixings here recessed.
Yes.
You know, so often you'll see rivets sitting proud of the surface, where they're very nicely recessed in.
Yeah, there's a lot of attention to detail in this camper. We only produce small volume, but we go to a lot of effort to produce a high quality camper that we know and trust will not give you any dramas for a long time in the future.
Yeah, fantastic. So Dave, when you were setting up, I noticed the stabiliser legs are actually on the back rather than underneath where you typically see them.
Yes.
Reasons for that?
There's two reasons for that. One is so that they're not hang up points underneath, they're not protruding down, they won't get caught up on the ground. Give you extra ground clearance, I guess. And the other reason is it's much easier to operate out here, so you're not bending down, reaching under the camper to put them up and down.
Yeah, fantastic, because they can be a bit fiddly to reach under there. And,
yes. You can see what you're doing when they're outside like that.
And when they're underneath there as well, I know on my trailer they're underneath and they get a bit of dirt and mud and stuff sort of gunked up in them.
Yes.
And they get hard to operate.
Yes.
And you almost end up lying on the ground under the trailer.
Yeah.
Trying to fold them down,
And
whereas
they're easy to clean out there.
yeah, fantastic. It's a seemingly simple thing, but a great idea, and you know, a nice simple spring mechanism to fold them up and down and lock them into place, and retention straps here.
Yeah, look, we just put them on there. I don't like things rattling around when you're off road. When they rattle, things can tend to wear out, so we just put that strap on there so when they're locked up you can just stop the rattling and tie them up like that.
Fantastic. And step at the back here, obviously.
Yes.
And an integrated handle. And is this a light on here?
Yeah, this is a light, a door light. Yeah, just push that button. There's a light on there. It's also got a little blue light. You won't be able to see it at the moment, but just so you can find your camper at night type feature.
Fantastic, which wouldn't use very much power at all.
No. And the step, it's only a single step, but see, the camper's quite low to the ground once you lower the suspension down. And the step folds up neatly, so there's not really any ground clearance issues there.
No, and I
Single
think
step.
that's the important thing as well, is when you're parked up you can lower the suspension right down.
Yes.
To make access in and out as easy
Yeah.
as possible.
Yes.
But when you're travelling, you have the air suspension up higher,
Yeah.
and you've got that clearance and departure angle that you want to see on
Exactly.
an off-road camper.
Yes, exactly. And you might be wondering why there's an angle to the back of the camper. And the reason for that is that it's a quite reasonably low camper. We try to keep the height of the camper down as low as possible, so it's not really any higher than your average four-wheel drive with a roof rack.
Perfect.
At 2.3 metre travelling height. But what that means is the door's quite low, but the angle of the back door allows you to, as you can see, my head's already inside, so when you stand up, you're inside.
Fantastic.
So that's the reason, or one of the reasons for the angle. And the other reason is if it was straight down from here, it just gives you a little bit more or less ground clearance at the rear, so it allows for more ground clearance. And you don't really need that space when you're inside, when you're standing there. You need
No.
the space up high not down at your feet level.
Yeah,
so
no,
it works out quite nicely.
Absolutely. No, very, very sensible and a great feature. And again, something that's maybe not obvious when you first look at it, but just another area that some thought's really gone into the design of this and the evolution.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier this one nearly a year, but a prototype before that for 5 years.
Yeah, it's actually 6 years old. We started developing the camper probably 11 years ago now, designing and building the chassis, testing the chassis, that sort of thing. A lot of design work, and then we finished the build about 6 years ago, and we've done a lot of travelling since in that prototype. Travelled many remote areas around Australia, so we learnt a lot from that, and then we changed the design a little bit, mainly the body, the chassis and suspensions, much the same, and then we developed the DN5 after that.
Fantastic.
Yep, we released it about 2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, great. All right. Well, let's get inside and have a look.
Yeah.
So inside you've got another stainless steel bench.
Yes, stainless steel bench with a sink with hot and cold water at your fingertips there.
So great for those morning coffees. When you wake up and you don't want to go outside to have to make a coffee.
Yeah, that's right. You can access your kettle, or we have a jet boil, depending on what you feel like using. You can access everything you need to with your coffee and your milk, and you can access your fridge from inside here as well.
Really?
Yeah. So,
wow, that's pretty impressive.
I can show you that. You simply lift up the bed area there, and you get to your fridge here, if the fridge is closed, of course, outside at the moment, so you can't get to it.
So over night time you go to bed, you're probably going to slide your fridge back in just so it doesn't get condensation or whatever on it,
exactly.
And you can get up in the morning and access it there.
Yes.
And
you know, if it's a bit of a cold, miserable morning, you can stay inside and you don't have to venture outside at all until it warms up a bit, and make yourself a bit of brekkie and some coffee, or whatever you like. You could have a coffee machine in here if you like.
Ample internal seating here as well, as we spoke about. That's probably more than a two-seater couch there, and then of course if you want to, David, you can always use the bed as well.
That's right. There's the bed here to sit on. This is actually doubles. This is a closed drawer. It uses, but it doubles as a step to get into your bed, so it's easy to get in and out of bed. But then of course you can use the bed as a seat as well. So yeah, this really is a family van if you need to use it as a family van. You can sleep one child there, or if your children are outside in a tent or a swag and the weather turns bad, you can come in here and you can easily seat 4 or 5 people in here if need be, 2 on the bed and 3 on the seat.
Yeah, and you've got the bench where you can make some coffee or whatever you want.
Yes.
And as you showed us as well, you've got access to the fridge. Yeah, so you've got the 240 volt power.
Yes.
Inside as well as outside.
Yes.
So yeah, coffee machine, toaster, kettle, whatever you really want to run. You've with those 600 amp hours, you've got plenty of power.
Exactly.
And the other thing that I'm noticing is, a lot of little hybrids will say they've got a two-seater couch, but this is actually quite generous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a decent length. It's nearly 1.8 metres long, and about 600 wide. So and easily good enough for a child's bed if you need it.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. And like a lot of things here, it's not just a seat, is it?
No, multi-purpose. Underneath this seat, we can that can be stored right there, and we can lift this lid up here, and this is where we can access the toilet.
Yeah.
We have a door into the toilet if you need to. We just step over that, and then of course you can. Before I pull that shower curtain around, there's the on-off for the water. And the shower's already mounted. It's a simple matter of pulling that screen around like so. And overlaps there, and it's quite a spacious shower in the end. actually, because the screen's a bit wider than the base, so you have plenty of space up top where you need it. We have a mixing valve, and that just simply, if this shower curtain's still a little bit wet, tends to stay wet down the bottom.
Sure.
That stays inside the shower cavity, so it, we can pack it up pretty easy, like so.
Yeah, so the water's going to wet down into that bottom waterproof section anyway.
Yes.
And yeah, that's a really neat solution. You know, by not trying to build in like a fixed wall ensuite, having the curtain, you really make the space that much more versatile.
Yes. Yeah, people come in here and they go, wow, this is huge. It looks bigger than my 14 or 15 foot van, and it's because we have quite a big living area here, and the bed's right forward. We utilise all the space, and we don't have walls for a shower that really cramps your style, so it's very airy and open. And of course you can pull down these windows, roll them all the way down with plenty of ventilation in here. With 6 large windows, you can roll them all the way down, of course.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, the canvas does a good job, so if you want to have those sleep-ins in the morning, you can, or you can open it up for ventilation and light.
Yes, and I've opted for canvas, so just a little bit better breathing, and it's good block out. And of course you've got windows you can open as well with a fly screen or a blind. There's a blind there, lockout blind, or your midgie-proof screen.
Fantastic.
And there's.
I'm really starting to see why you call it the Duck's Nuts.
Yeah, we try to fit everything in. Of course, I haven't shown you the kitchen drawers here. These drawers, as we showed you outside, go in outside and inside. That's that drawer there, and this one here, this cupboard here, it goes access to that space, same as that one there, that drawer there, that drawer there. Now this cupboard here you can't access from outside, but we just use it to store a bit of a pantry area, I guess.
Yeah, personal effects and pantry, great for that, and nothing.
Linen, I should say, yeah.
Nothing wrong with having an internal storage space. You certainly need those. I love the shoe storage there on the end of the bed.
Yes, yeah, we've got a bit of shoe storage there. There's also a storage area just in there. Store some items, and then we've got 2 clothes drawers in this camper. That one there. You see we have a nice little rod to make it easy. You can actually open and shut them if you have bare feet with your toes.
Perfect.
So, bending down, and this is another closed storage drawer in there. And we find that's plenty of space for your clothes. Like if we're going on a long trip, like a week or more, then we may have another bag of clothes in our car, but generally we don't access that bag. Maybe after a week you might need to, and we sometimes put a dirty clothes basket in the shower area here, so it just all works seamlessly well with your clothes.
Yeah, fantastic. And while we're just in here talking about just how much space there is in here, it's a bit of a TARDIS, this thing, isn't it?
Well, that's what yeah, we should have called it the TARDIS. Yeah. Some people have actually said that. Well, it's like the TARDIS.
Because overall length is not that long.
No, it's 5.3 metres total length.
Including the drawbar.
Including the drawbar, yeah. And it's like a slightly over 13 foot van inside space. And it's a proper queen spring mattress. Pocket spring mattress.
So very, very comfortable, and
very comfortable.
Width-wise, it looks to be the same width as your tow vehicle.
Yeah, it's about 1.9 metres wide. So yeah, we try to keep it. The wheel track's about the same wheel track as your average four-wheel drive.
Perfect. And this external panel, it feels like a composite sandwich panel or something.
Yeah, 30 mil thick insulated sandwich panel. Very, very strong, durable, light. And it's all the frame in one, so there's no need for a frame and it's outer skin and inner skin. It does everything. But we top it off with these aluminium foldments. We have an aluminium foldment, for instance, here on the inside. We have another one on the outside, and that's how we manufacture the whole camper, inside and outside foldments that hold the panels together, and you end up creating an extremely strong walls, and the ceiling's also made of the same sandwich panel, and then it's got another panel on top again, so it's actually got two. It's got a composite panel on top and a sandwich panel underneath. The floor's made out of the sandwich panel as well. Even the bed floor, even to save weight, we have it underneath the stainless steel sink. We have a 30mm thick sandwich panel, and that allows us to go to thinner stainless steel, save a bit of weight there, and it's glued to the sandwich panel. Yeah, there's no timber used throughout. It's either sandwich panel and the body, that is, it's either sandwich panel or aluminium foldments, and the chassis steel, powder coated steel on this one.
Fantastic. And as you mentioned, the sandwich panel is quite strong and also lightweight. And I think I remember talking to you. These start in weight from the base model without a few things from around 1,240 kilos.
Yes, that's right. That's the base tear, and as you add things like extra solar panels and extra batteries, extra water tanks. And hot water service and things like that, it tops out at about 1,460 kilos.
Yeah, so still under that 1.5 tonne mark.
Yes, yeah.
Which for a hybrid camper with this many features, is pretty unreal. Like there's plenty of the traditional fold top camper trailers that'd be around that weight, if not heavier.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, no, the weight's the most important aspect of this camper, and we've gone through extreme design changes to try and manage the weight. Of course, the lighter the weight you are, there's so many benefits in weight and size. Off-road ability is the main benefit. The lighter you are, the further off-road you can go, and the smaller you are. And of course, it's fuel economy as well. Lighter and the smaller, the better the fuel economy. So it's a win-win, really.
Yeah, and look, with the pop top too, with the finished height being similar to your average four-wheel drive tow vehicle, you're going to be a little less likely to damage it when you are taking it off-road, because it's not sitting half a metre higher than your tow vehicle.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
And you see something, I can drive under that, and your four-wheel drive can, and the camper behind maybe doesn't quite make it. And the fact that it's a pop top is made very easy, because we saw you set it up, and these actuators look like a pretty solid bit of kit.
Yes, yeah.
And they push the roof up nice and easy.
They're a high quality actuator. We only probably use 25% of their capacity. They're actually smart actuators, so they talk to each other. It's going up to make sure it lifts up together. In case there's any issues, it stops, and so you won't ever have any issues with those actuators. We also have a little bit of extra storage here, which I've added in recently to just give you a little bit more storage. Extremely lightweight again.
And that's the thing, when you're the designer and the manufacturer, making those little tweaks are a little easier. Than somebody who's trying to liaise with a manufacturer elsewhere in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And I notice up around the bed head there behind the cone, you've got that nice rounded shape, which works well for having your head up that end of the bed, and it's nicely carpeted as well. Yes,
it's insulated. That's the fiberglass composite nose cone, and then insulation and then carpeted. We have two bed head reading lights there. We also have on each side, I'll show you on this side, we have a storage area there and a USB charging port. And of course there's windows here as well. And the reading lights, as you see. And there's one Sirocco fan there as well.
Yeah, perfect. And as you said, plenty of storage there. Just for all sorts of things. You can never have too much storage, and as you said, all this is really accessible in here as well. And having the the 240 volt power and the induction cooker that you can move around, you don't need a fixed cooktop in here, so you can keep this bench top nice and clear. You've got the built-in sink, and you can, as you mentioned, if the weather's not great, you can retreat in here, bring the cooker in, and you're self-sufficient inside, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the other day we were out on the coast, and you know what the weather can be like on the coast, and we were all outside cooking, and next minute it started heavily raining, and wind was coming in, so we quickly grabbed the cooktop. We're in the middle of cooking, brought it inside through the fridge drawer closed, came inside, and we finished off our cooking inside. Didn't hardly missed a beat.
Yeah, fantastic. It's amazing flexibility, and I've just noticed as well you've got a couple of 12 volt outlets here as well.
Yeah, there's a cigarette lighter plug and a USB charging port there.
So as well as having the USB up near the bed, you've got them here near the bench top as well.
Yes, I know we're only a very small manufacturer, and so we can tailor make things. If you have special requirements, which some people have, we can change the electrical system around a little bit for you. Add in a few extras. It's really up to you guys, I guess. We can't do major changes because it's in such a tight space. It's difficult to make major changes to layouts, but certainly smaller changes we're open to.
Yeah, everything's been designed to sort of work together and with itself. You know, the way the toilet and the ensuite work with the bench seat here. You know, really great design. I just can't get over how much space there is inside this thing still. I've been inside plenty of campers, hybrid campers, that, you know, they say there's a two-seater bench, and maybe there is for two small people, but you get a guy my size on there and you're not getting somebody else on that bench with me, not unless we're really good friends. You know, really here you could have three people up here if you wanted to.
That's right.
Like I'm not even kidding, guys. Like I'm sitting on the bench, and so is David, and that's the space in between us.
And we do have some items inside here to control inside. This is to turn the hot water heating on and off. This is your light switch, and this is the induction cooktop. Now we have these switches inside because sometimes you're inside, you need to turn these things on and off. Sometimes you're outside. Easy to get to outside, you just open the door, reach in to get to it. Yeah. Also accessible from inside. And there's also a diesel heater switch just beneath your bed, so we have a diesel heater in here.
Yeah, okay,
that's
fantastic.
a controller there for the diesel heater. Accessible.
So Dave, we're just talking about the shower and the hot water system, and you were explaining to me that you've actually got a tempering valve in here, so you don't use as much hot water as people might think.
Yeah, that's right. Tempering valve just makes life so much easier. It's always set temperature, so all you have to do is turn the water tap on in your shower, and the temperature is right. And it's adjustable tempering valve. We have ours mounted right there, so you can get to it from inside easily.
Fantastic.
So set there, you can just adjust the temperature. Once you set that temperature, but you never have to touch it. As the hot water service changes temperature, as you're using the hot water, it can change. That will always mix it to the right temperature, what you've set it at. So there's no mucking around, always adjusting your taps. Secondly, when you first start your shower, you adjust. If you had two separate tap mixers, that wastes a bit of water getting the temperature right. So it does save water having that, and makes life easy. Yeah,
absolutely. And just noticing your hoses there and your plumbing and fittings, looks like it's all John Guest.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Easy fitment. It's a little bit dearer, but you're pretty well guaranteed no leaks, and stays together.
Yeah, that's certainly what I've heard about the John Guest stuff, is that it not only is it easy to put together, but pretty much guaranteed not to leak, which is important. The last thing you want is a leak somewhere in your plumbing system when you're camping and you're trying to diagnose it and it's hidden away inside the construction of the camper.
Yeah, no, exactly. Everything's easy to get to in this camper. If you have a look around the corner there, you'll see the Renogy inverter while you're there, and the 240 volt circuit breakers. We have two circuit breakers. One's on the inverter side of the 240 volt and one's on the grid side. And this is what you need to be compliant to the new Australian standards. In here is our it's a combination electrical battery storage area, and you can also store some personal items in here. You can see we use this is a box we use to protect our electrical gear. You can remove that, which is where you can keep your personal gear, but in there you'll see the battery storage, and allow Victron chargers.
Yeah, neat.
And under there we have all the circuit breakers, some isolators, so if you need to turn things off in a hurry, you can.
All very accessible, and I noticed you're using the Aussie made in Melbourne Powerpool batteries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great battery. They're the 300 amp hour batteries. There, 2 of them.
Yeah, fantastic.
And we use Victron gear chargers.
Yeah, and I think that's recognised as up there with the industry best gear to be using.
For sure, yeah. I love the fact that they're all Bluetooth to your phone, so you can see what every item's doing. Your solar to your 12 volt charger to your plug-in solar panel charger to your 240 volt charger.
But yeah, that's certainly, as we said, that's just a lot of power to have there, isn't it? 2 311 amp hour lithium batteries.
Yeah, well that's actually tested capacity is 311. This one's tested to 313. That's what they came out after they were built. But they're a standard 300 amp hour battery, and they test every one.
Yeah, no, they do great work, those guys, and that's the thing. You know, you're buying a battery from them. It's been hand built. It's been tested. They actually print the rated amp hours for that specific battery on the battery, so you know exactly what you're getting.
And it's got a six year warranty, or 3 year full warranty, 3 year pro rata warranty on those batteries.
Yeah, which is fantastic, and yeah, really good service from those guys as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hi guys, here we are in the Free Spirit Campers factory. You can see a guillotine in the background there, and the folding machine, and there's the chassis, the DN5, which we'll get into in a little bit more detail very soon now. And again, press brake, I believe. Honestly, factory machinery is not my strong suit. And you can see here a look under the DN5 at that amazing suspension system, which again we'll cover off in a bit more detail as we get to that. So guys, really important stuff here that really sets the DN5 apart from its competition, and well worth sticking around to listen to the info on this. You can see how chunky that is, and there's some really important stuff that's gone into the design and engineering of the suspension system here on the DN5.
Hi guys, Jason here from Off the Beaten Path, and I'm here with David again from Free Spirit Campers, just in his factory here out at Jindra, and came out here to give you guys a look at what's underneath the DN5 that you've seen the walkthrough of, because it's far from a standard chassis. It's something David's worked on and developed over 5 years of testing, and there's a lot that's gone into this, and it's pretty unique. So in general terms, David, if you can tell us about the chassis, what goes into that?
Yeah, well, every component on this chassis, apart from the machined items, are laser cut. So as you can see, there's a lot of weight savings, and we've taken material out where the strength is not required. All the RHS is laser cut. You can see even in parts of this RHS, you probably can't see it from that angle, but parts of the RHS have been removed where we don't need the strength, and of course there's suspension as well, I guess, and the chassis is hot dip galvanised, and we have removable rock sliders on both ends.
Yeah, fantastic. So they're sort of a perishable part that can be replaced if they need to be.
Yes, that's right.
And yeah, as you say, that suspension is far from standard. We're all used to sort of independent suspension on camper trailers that's about this long, and it's kind of a bolt-on item. Yeah. This is much more integrated into the chassis. You've got these really big long travel arms that actually run across the trailer rather than along the length of the trailer.
Yeah.
And then you've got like this quite long trailing arm sort of like coil suspension on a heavy duty off-road vehicle almost.
Yes, it's been designed from the ground up, including the suspension. The principal cross arm suspension. As you can see, the axles go across and they're on a bit of an angle so they miss each other, and then we have this leading arm. Both are quite long arms, so you don't get as much radius effect. We've tested this suspension in-house and on the track over the last 5 years, or 6 years actually, tested in-house to 3 times its capacity, and taken over some lots of very rough tracks around Australia, and it's certainly passed all tests.
Yeah, fantastic. You were explaining to me in a bit of detail that, you know, just how much thought's gone into setting up the geometry and how important it is to get that right.
Yes.
Which you've spent 5 years doing.
Yes.
Yep. And so this suspension system just works so well, keeps the wheels straight and everything, and you get a good amount of travel as well, don't you?
Yes, at the wheel there's 220 mil of travel, and the wheel stays straight as it goes up and down, as in the toe in, toe out. Camber changes, but once you've set the level right for ride height, the camber is correct. So you won't have any trouble with your tyres scrubbing out. And the other thing we have is we have adjustable leading arms, so we can get the toe in, toe out spot on before it leaves the factory. For worry-free travel. Yeah,
fantastic. And pretty heavy duty arms, the orange arms. I mean, what's the sizing on those?
They're 48 mil, 4 mil thick pipe. Yeah.
Very solid. And then obviously the cross arms are even bigger again.
Yep. They're heavy duty pipe as well.
And again, one of the things we were talking about when the chassis was down is because you've designed this from the ground up and you've thought about everything as you've been designing it, one of the important things is you've designed the chassis rail spacing so that the water tanks actually fit inside it. They don't sit down below the chassis rails and sit unnecessarily low. You get maximum clearance out of those tanks by locating them up inside those big chassis rails.
Yeah, that's right. And we actually have those tanks mounted hard up on the floor, so there's no clearance loss there. And we also have another aluminium plate that bolts on separately underneath here to protect them, and a bit of extra support. But they're actually mounted at the moment with 6 10mm studs directly under the floor. And as you can see, the advantage of having this style of suspension is its simplicity in its strength, due to a simple axle design mounted at one end, and the airbag at the other end is simply in bending moment like a normal axle. And the other advantage is the water tanks. We've got 2 big water tanks in this, 225 litre water tanks. The front water tank can be mounted right close to the axle, and so can the rear, which is a big advantage, getting that weight centred around the axle. And the biggest weight in the camper is the water.
Absolutely. When you fill those up, there's a couple of hundred kilos there, isn't there?
That's actually 250 kilos, actually. Yeah.
And that's a really important point.
And the batteries will mount on top of the chassis, right over the axle as well. Yeah. Another heavy item.
Again, keep that weight low and centre. Exactly like when you're setting up your four-wheel drive, you want to try and keep the load over the axles as much as possible. The same sort of principle should apply to good camper design, shouldn't it?
Exactly. Yes. Yep. Everything low and central to the axle, and the shorter your trailer is, the better. Less chance of pendulum action, less chance of swaying.
Yeah. And I think too, because it may not be apparent from this view, we'll get some other footage as well. It's important to note the suspension it's an airbag suspension. Yes. You don't have a coil spring, but you do have a heavy duty, like a Land Cruiser 105 grade sort of shock absorber.
Yes, standard 105 series Land Cruiser shock, mounted very close to 90 degrees to this action of the axle. And the shock absorber actually protrudes into the body, and that's how we've achieved it. So there's no need for 2 shocks because we've mounted a correct shock on the correct angle.
Yeah, and I guess that's again, this is probably where vehicle style engineering is coming into a trailer here, where you've got your shock absorber towers similar to what you'd see in the engine bay of Nissan Patrol or a Toyota Land Cruiser for the front end,
Yes.
where they've got coil suspension, you've got that tower so you can have a longer, taller, long travel shock, which you just typically don't see on a camper.
No, that's right. Yep.
Which all goes into making this unique suspension system really work quite well.
Mm. And the other thing to note is the ground clearance on this chassis. Due to the water tanks mounted so high, and the axles are actually also mounted up high, there's actually a little bit of drop. So the centre of the wheel is lower than the axle, so there's a bit of a drop axle there, and that's just the ground to achieve a really high ground clearance. So you would not have any dramas bottoming you out with this style or this design.
Yeah, so I mean basically anywhere your standard four-wheel drive on 33-inch tyres is going to go, this is going to follow behind and not get hung up either.
Oh yeah, it's got a lot more ground clearance than your standard. Even a standard off-road four-wheel drive that's got a bit of lift in it.
Yep.
This will have a lot more ground clearance.
Well, I mean straight axle with the diff in the centre sort of
that's it. Yeah,
is very different to what we've got going on under here, isn't it?
You imagine an axle come through on the centre line of that wheel through there, and then you have your belly as a diff.
Very different sort of
Shooting
situation.
down. That'll be down to here.
Yeah. So I guess would it be fair to say with this suspension you've kind of got the best of both worlds in that you've got the benefits of the clearance of an IFS style suspension, but you've got the strength and travel of a solid axle style suspension.
No, that's exactly that's right.
Yeah. No, fantastic setup, and the fact that you guys make the chassis here, and it's all Aussie steel, isn't it, that you use?
Yes, all Australian steel, yeah, and we fold we get it all laser cut, but we do the folding here. It's hot dip galvanised. It's just around the corner here, actually. Yeah.
No, fantastic, and certain elements like the returns on the drawbar here. This is all actually the same piece of steel where you've just checked out the back of it and folded it and then re-welded it. So there is no weld joint on this front corner here. That's just a bend in the steel. So it's not a second member welded on the front here. Not at all. The other thing is, I mean, this is a hugely chunky drawbar here that I'm seeing on the front end. I think you said to me before this is 125 by 125.
Yes. Yeah.
So really heavy duty steel. And supported back there by the extension of the chassis rail. So this isn't just a small piece of steel here joining back to the trailer, this is actually the extension of the chassis rails.
Yes.
That run the full length of the trailer, isn't it?
Yes, and it's 3.5 mil thick RHS.
Yeah, so plenty of strength in that. And then having this, the length of this drawbar you've kind of designed, as you mentioned, to be able to sort of jackknife most cars if you need to when you're off-road. We've all got under those spots where it's really hard to turn around, and you've got a camper on the back. You need every millimetre you can get, really.
Yeah, sometimes you can get into a tight situation you need to get out of.
So the fact that because of this design, you can actually get the vehicle pretty much at 90 degrees to the trailer.
Yes, one side you can go 90 degrees, probably this side because of the jockey wheel not quite 90.
Sure.
Yep.
Again, I guess it's just more examples of the design work that's gone into this and the evolution over the 5 years to get it where it is now.
Yes. Yeah.
So guys, there you have it. Free Spirit Campers, DN5, the Ducks Nuts. And I think, you know, seeing the inside and seeing the chassis now, you can see why David's gone with that name. Thanks, David, for all the time you've given us in showing us through the camper and then allowing us to come into your factory where you actually make these and film the chassis and everything you do here. Great to see Aussie manufacturing at work, and for us so close to home. So thanks very much.
No worries, and thank you. Thanks for taking the time to do this.
No, pleasure. Okay guys, there you have it. The DN5, or the Ducks Nuts, from Free Spirit Campers. Not only Australian made, but actually made right here in Gindra, not far from where I live. So it's been a pleasure today to go through the camper with David and learn a bit more about it. And what a package it is. A little bit over 5 metres long, including the drawbar. Basically the width of your tow vehicle, around that 1.9 metres wide.
Yep.
And overall height about 2.3 metres. So your typical four-wheel drive that's maybe got a 2-inch lift and a roof rack on it is going to be around that 2.3 metres as well. So, and incredibly lightweight, starting from 1,240 kilos, and you know, loaded up with the stuff you're going to want in it, the 2 water tanks and a cooker and those sort of bits and pieces, still coming in at under the 1.5 tonne mark, with a reasonable carrying capacity to add a bit of gear on top of that if you need to. But 1.5 tonne for something that's got an internal cooking space, an ensuite, an internal living space, and a full queen size bed is pretty unreal. And these can come with, as we mentioned, this particular one, 600 amp hours of lithium and almost a kilowatt, of solar on the roof as well. And that's the advantage of having a hard roof hybrid like this. You can have proper solar panels mounted up there permanently, and then you've got the additional solar input as well. And again, this model's got the 2 water tanks, which you've seen us go through. So a total of 250 litres of water, which is probably your only limiting factor in terms of how long you can stay off grid in this thing. You're going to run out of water before you run out of power. You know, bring some more water in your car and you can probably stay longer. So a really versatile, capable off-road hybrid. And by now we should have included in this, I'm going to get over to the factory and we'll have some footage of the chassis, because this is not a standard chassis under here. This is not an off-the-shelf sort of thing. It's something David's designed up, and it's incredibly robust and designed to go off-road, guys. So really top quality, Aussie-made camper, low production. They don't make a lot of these, probably each year.
Yeah, 6 a year at the moment.
So there you go, 6 a year. So it's not going to take long for that build queue to go out, but you know, good things come to those that wait. So look, if you want to know more about it, get in touch with David and the guys from Free Spirit Campers via their website or their Facebook page, or give them a call. Their factory's in Gindra. Everything in here is Aussie made, and I'm really impressed with what I've seen today, guys, and I hope you are too. As always, thanks for watching.
Matt.